The world is splitting in two over AI. Europe is building a massive regulatory fortress, while Singapore is dropping $1 billion to weaponize its workforce. Welcome back to RoadTech 2045. Today, we're breaking down the ultimate global showdown. Who ultimately controls the future? The people writing the rules, or the ones building the machines? Let's go. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the global race to define the future of AI. And what we're seeing is this incredible story of two totally different strategies unfolding on opposite sides of the planet. I mean, let's face it, AI is here. It is changing everything. And as this tech just keeps accelerating, you've got governments all over the world wrestling with this core dilemma. And really, it all boils down to two fundamental questions. First up, how do you actually control this thing, right? How do you make sure it's safe, that it's fair, that it lines up with our values? How do you put up the guardrails to stop the worst from happening? That is the question of control. And then, on the complete flip side of that, there's this second question. How do you win with it? How do you grab all that incredible power to supercharge your economy, to drive insane innovation, and, let's be honest, to get a leg up on the global stage? That is the question of ambition. All right, so let's dig in. We're going to start with maybe the biggest, most comprehensive answer out there to that first question. The how to control it part. And for that, we've got to look to Europe. What you're looking at here is the EU AI Act, and this thing is a huge deal. It's really the world's first comprehensive legal framework for AI. And the main goal? It's all about building trust. They want to make sure AI systems meet these really high standards for safety and for ethics. Now, what's really smart about the EU's approach is that it's not some one-size-fits-all rule. They've created this pyramid of risk. So right at the very top, you have unacceptable risk AI. Think things like government social scoring. That stuff is just banned out, gone. Step down and you get high-risk AI. Stuff used in critical infrastructure or maybe for hiring people. That gets hit with really strict requirements. Then there's limited risk AI, like chatbots, where you basically just have to be transparent and tell people they are talking to a bot. And then pretty much everything else just falls into minimal risk. And this quote really gets to the heart of the EU's ambition here. They're not just making rules for their own backyard, no way. They're trying to set the global gold standard. They're writing the rulebook that they hope everyone else in the world will eventually follow. Okay, so that's the control side of the story. Now let's pivot. Let's look at a totally different approach, one that is laser-focused on that second question. How do you win with AI? And for that, we're headed to Singapore, because they're writing a completely different playbook. If you want to get a sense of Singapore's strategy, just follow the money. We're talking $1 billion Singapore dollars being pumped into their national AI plan over the next 5 years. And look, this isn't just some number on a spreadsheet. This is a huge, massive statement about their national ambition. But it's not just about throwing money at the problem. Their national goal is to train 15,000 AI practitioners. That's a huge number. They get it. Winning in AI isn't just about who has the slickest algorithms. It's about who has the smartest people building them. So their whole strategy really comes down to 3 main pillars. First, you've got fundamental research, pushing the absolute limits of what AI can even do. Second, they're taking that cutting-edge stuff and pushing it into key industries to solve actual real-world problems. And holding it all together is this relentless obsession with building a pipeline of world-class experts to fuel the whole machine. So that begs the question, right? How on earth do you create 15,000 AI experts from the ground up? That's an incredibly ambitious goal. It takes a whole ecosystem. So let's take a look inside what are basically Singapore's AI talent factories. Okay, so at the university level, you can see this really clever two-pronged attack. On one hand, you have NTU, where the master's program is really focused on the deep research and the theory behind it all. But then you pop over to NUS, and their program is super hands-on, intensely practical. It's all about building real-world stuff, robotics, self-driving cars. See what they're doing? They're not just churning out one kind of expert. They're building a whole diverse AI workforce. And look at where these graduates are going. Machine learning engineer, data scientist. These are the hottest jobs out there. This isn't just education for education's sake. No, this is a super targeted industrial strategy. It's designed specifically to fill these critical high-paying jobs with homegrown talent. But then you have this. This might be the most aggressive play of all from the Singapore Institute of Technology. Check this out. They've got a 6-month program, a total deep dive into applied AI. And here's the kicker. They will pay you $4,000 to do it. I mean, if that doesn't show you how serious they are about building up their talent pool, and fast, I don't know what does. Okay, let's just step back for a second and take this all in. What we've seen are two incredibly powerful but totally different philosophies for tackling the age of AI. You've got one side focused on writing the rules of the road. You could almost call it a defensive strategy, right? It's all about safety, managing risk, creating this unified ethical framework. But then you've got Singapore's blueprint, and that is all offense. It's all about investing in people, investing in research, and just building an absolute powerhouse of innovation. And this right here, this is the core tension that every single country is dealing with right now. When it comes to the race for AI, do you put the foot on the brake, focus on the guardrails to make sure the ride is safe, or do you slam your foot on the gas pedal to make sure you win? And at the end of the day, these two very different playbooks raise a huge question for every single one of us. As AI completely rewrites our world, is the future going to be shaped by the people who make the rules or the people who build the machines? And that really is the question, isn't it? So who actually wins the global AI war? The rulemakers slamming the brakes or the builders flooring the gas? Let me know whose side you're on in the comments. If you want to stay ahead of the AI curve, hit subscribe and drop a like. Stay sharp.